So you can't hear that, right? Okay.
No.
No.
Okay, so all right, well, this is the third time we tried it, and we're just going to run it on Twitch, and then I'll upload it to YouTube later. Welcome to another episode of Panakal, a podcast for geeks, the show about good friends hanging out, talking about things we love. Today we're going to talk about Transformers. I am sorry we are 25 minutes late. For some reason, Streamlabs just doesn't want to work with me today. So my guests are Andrew Sides, who's my occasional co-host, and my friend Chris, who I've known you for over 15 years probably at this point.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
So Chris consistently will wax poetic about things on mainly sports, but I think you wrote something about Transformers one day, and it was like a long fucking thread, and I was just like, I'm gonna get this guy on the show to talk about this. I didn't really make any notes on this one for Transformers because I figured it would just hit some 80s nostalgia and then move forward from there. So like, for starters, like when was the first time, like did you guys get the toys first or see the cartoon first would be a good one to start with?
I remember when I was young, somehow, some way we had like the Optimus Prime, like the die-cast metal Optimus Prime action figure, and that was like the only Transformers toy that I had for like the longest time until Beast Wars, I want to say.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Your parents did not like you.
I think it was just more that like there was a long stretch of time where I didn't show as much interest in it as I did other things. Like the big two things when I was a kid was like dinosaurs and Star Wars, and then Transformers was like a third or fourth thing. So
got it.
I definitely saw the cartoon first before I got any of the toys. The Transformers toys were also on a different price point level than the GoBots toys.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of GoBots, like $4 because they were like tiny and shitty.
Oh yeah.
But the Transformers, like you couldn't get a Transformer for under like $15, like the big ones.
Was the original line of GoBots plastic, or was it also die-cast like Transformers?
I'm pretty sure it was plastic.
Okay.
It was like a cheap plastic with like like the metallic like paint that was probably lead based.
Oh.
I don't know. I had a couple GoBots. I mean, I enjoyed that cartoon for what it's worth, but I didn't realize that it was its own thing until much later. Like my first run with Transformers was I had a cousin who, and I bring him up all the time, but he just basically decided one day he's too old for toys. I think he was going away to college. I think it was like, I think it was just, he's about to go away to college is what it was because he's finishing high school, and he had this box of toys, and he was like, I'm too old for this. Like somehow, for some reason, he got too cool for his toys. So he gifted me a box, and it was like a big box of toys. My parents never really would. My parents were like kind of like yours, Andrew. Like they were just not going to buy me. The Transformers were expensive. Like if you wanted like Optimus or something, if you wanted any of the ones that connected to form a bigger one, like you had to buy all 5, right? And you're like that. They were like whatever, $20 each or something. So my parents were never going to buy me those. I had like Masters of the Universe and stuff like that, but it was a sprinkling of toys, and that's what I was happy with. But he had a box of these, and I remember he's like, you can have them. And my dad was like, I remember my dad was fucking with me for literally 30 minutes. He was like, I don't think we could take that home. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? I was like begging him to for like literally 30 minutes in this house. I was just like, please, Dad, please. Look, man, look at all these toys. You don't have to pay for any of it, But I got like a Soundwave. He had a Optimus Prime, Soundwave, Starscream. Like it was like the jackpot of Transformers for me. Then I saw the cartoon. I didn't even know about the cartoon at that time, so I just saw these cool toys, right? And I was just like, these are cool. And he had a shit ton of G.I. Joes, which is a whole different talk. But so that was my first foray into it. Like it took me a minute. He sat there and showed me how to transform each one, and he was talking about the cartoon, and I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. So then he showed me the cartoon, and I was just like, totally hooked,
Man.
Why can't I remember the name of the big one that's a construction? Is it The constructor.
Devastator.
Devastator. But what were the individual ones called?
Weren't the small ones called Constructicons, or am I just bullshitting that?
As a group, they were the Constructicons, and then they each had an individual name, like Long Haul, Scrapper, Mixmaster.
Yeah,
that's right.
So Devastator was the only one he decided to take with him.
Yeah, because Devastator was badass.
Yeah, he was like that. I remember seeing it in his room. It was like, tall, right, neon green. And he was like, "Yeah, that one I'm taking with me." And I was just like, "That's fair." I mean, you couldn't really fault him for it, right? You had so many of them. So
you know what? Now I remember. Like, okay, I had 2 Transformer toys when I was young, or no, 3. I had 3. I had Optimus Prime, which no idea how I even came into possession of that. But then I also had Grimlock and whatever. What was the Stegosaurus one called?
I think that was Snarl.
It's either Snarl or Slag. I can never remember the other ones.
Yeah, no, I
mean, Swoop was the pterodactyl because he swoop in, right?
Yeah.
That was easy to remember. Fucking, I can just look it up. I don't know why I'm acting like Google shit over here.
You know, another difference between GoBots and Transformers was GoBots had really shitty names. Like the leader of the evil GoBots was Psykill, and he was a motorcycle. The helicopter guy's name was Copter. There was a tank that was just named Tank. I mean, they put zero effort into those names for the GoBots.
Was that just lazy localization, or was that the actual names that the Japanese company went with first?
That's a good question. I watched that the Toys That Made Us Netflix episode about Transformers. They briefly touched on GoBots, but they didn't say whether those were the original names.
I don't remember that either.
His name's Snarl, by the way, just so in case anyone's curious. The GoBots, I just remember that cartoon. I only saw it a handful of times with my friends, but I remember there was the one dude who would like stomp his feet and like the electric would come out of him or the lightning would come out of him. That was his stupid go-to move. I never had any. There was a cartoon. Yeah, there's a cartoon.
No. Oh yeah. I mean, like, I've never seen the GoBots cartoon, but there was a character that had electrics come out of his feet when he stomped.
His signature move was creating some form of shockwave, I guess, when he stomped his foot. GoBots was one of those things. So I only had I had the leader. He was a jet, right?
Yeah, leader one.
Yeah, leader one.
Okay.
And I believe I only had like that guy, and I had somebody else, a spaceship maybe, I forget, but. I found him randomly at the park one day. Like, I was just sitting next to a tree, and some kid forgot his GoBots, and I was just like, bonus in my favor. Like, you're not gonna go looking around for who owns this GoBot, right? So
no.
Nobody would have admitted to it anyway, even if you found somebody.
Some kid who's
like. To the owner of this GoBot, and everyone's just like, "Oh no!"
I only collect Transformers. I swear.
I'd imagine some kid who can't afford a toy, which was pretty sad that day. And I would have felt really bad about it. I had asked my other.
GoBots was first, wasn't it?
So GoBots beat Transformers as far as the toy, like 6 months before Transformers came out. GoBots came out.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man! If you watch and you were not even that good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch that, the what's it called? The Toys That Made Us. That's actually a really good series on each of these toys that we grew up with.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I was trying. So when you were talking about Transformers stuff too, I was remembering. My dad and I had gone to see the movie in the theaters, and I don't know about you guys, but. Spoiler alert, Optimus Prime dies.
Yeah.
I think I was one of many kids who were just shocked.
That was the first time I cried at a movie. Was watching Optimus Prime die. I was 6 years old, and if you remember the show at all, they'd been fighting for like 60 episodes before the movie came out. They're shooting at each other constantly. Nobody ever hit anybody. Like, nobody ever died. Nobody ever got seriously even injured. So then,
it's like Stormtrooper paradox.
Yeah. And then 10 minutes into the movie, and Optimus Prime's lying there on a slab, and he like turns gray, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And I was like, as a kid, I remember when I saw it in the theater, I actually stood up. I was like, no! Because I remember my dad grabbed me by the shoulder, like, sit back down. It was like, threw off my whole paradigm.
If I remember right, doesn't Megatron also like ice Starscream in that too?
Well,
Yeah,
technically, Galvatron does.
Yeah.
If
you want to get technical about it.
Well, I want to give credit where credit's due. Starscream threw Megatron out of the ship to float away in space because he was almost dead, and then Unicron takes Megatron and a bunch of the other Decepticons and transforms them into new guys. And then Galvatron.
You really got to say all that and then put your glasses on, man. Nerd. No, but I told Andrew this earlier. I was talking to Kurum earlier, and I said I got a Transformers expert on the show. He was like Optimus Prime. I said I didn't say specialist, but yeah. So I just remember. So as I got older and I saw that movie again, I remember there was the first time somebody swore in a cartoon. I think the word was shit. They were allowed one.
Oh.
But I remember watching with my friends when we were in college, and we were like breaking down, because I was at this time I was studying, web and graphic design, and I was in a business class, a marketing class, and they were like, think about a business plan for things, and I thought about the marketing plan behind Transformers, because it was like a toy first and a cartoon, I believe, right, or the other way around. I can't remember.
It was. If I remember right, wasn't it started in the U.S., went to Japan, then Japan said, hey, we're going to turn into this, and the U.S. said, that's cool, can you localize it for us?
Yeah.
I think it started in Japan, actually.
It went the other way then? But was it a toy first, then a cartoon?
It was a toy. Yeah, like the
first.
show.
Okay.
Yeah, the show acts entirely as a.
So it's the same.
Commercial.
So like it's the same thing as like Masters of the Universe, right? Like they had the toys, and then they're like, how can you market this thing even more? But
right.
The reason I brought that up was because I also remember my friends and I were talking about when they made the movie. I was like, who was the guy that sat in that room and said we're gonna kill Optimus Prime? Right? Who was the guy that was like, we're gonna kill? Was there no discussion where they're like, we're gonna kill him and then we're gonna bring him back? Like they didn't bring him back in the movie, but if you remember, they brought him back later in the cartoons, right? Like he was like a Jesus Messiah resurrection style,
So what I understand as far as the thinking behind that was they'd been pushing it started as a toy, and then the cartoon came afterwards to kind of help sell it. So they'd already run 2 seasons, something like 60 episodes or something, and they wanted to get like new toys on the shelves. So it's like, we can't just keep selling Optimus Prime and all these other same guys. So we have to come up with like 10 new dudes. Let's have the movie. Let's kill Optimus. We'll bring in a whole new round of people, and then we get more sales.
Yeah, and the thing that's on one hand, it's like, I get it. You want to do some marketing for this shit, so you're trying to get things out the door a specific way. But on the other hand, they don't even take it like some people at our age, we were like 6 and 7, right? So it didn't affect us at that level, because we were just like, more toys, we're in,
Right.
New Transformers, I'm in. A little shocked still about Optimus, obviously, but I feel like what would hit were the older kids who grew up with these a little more than we did, and then they see all this new shit and they're like, oh, what's happening, But I remember like just breaking it down, thinking like that was a bad idea, because I think they tanked on sales for the new stuff, and then they were like, then some dude, I'm guessing it's the same guy that said kill Optimus, came back in and said, I got an idea, let's just bring him back, because they brought him back. He was like a variation. Remember, he was like a giant. No, he was no longer just regular Optimus. He had the giant semi, but that thing turned into like a home base for other Transformers and shit. And I was like, what the fuck is even happening here? But like that's, and I just remember, I always loved Grimlock. He was my all-time favorite. People always say Soundwave is their favorite. I'm like, that's like saying Grimlock. That's like saying Soundwave is your favorite is like saying Wolverine is your favorite. Like you got to reach a little bit more.
Well, first of all, anybody like myself who says Soundwave is their favorite, we're saying it because he was the coolest fucking Transformer that they came up with. Okay,
he was
a one-man army. His voice sounded the fucking dopest. Like nobody sounded like him.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
And my girlfriend 2 Christmases ago got me the original Soundwave toy. which I never had this as a kid. I took it out, I put it together, but I don't, I only did it the one time, but that's like my prized possession now.
So my Soundwave got stolen in the 2nd grade. I saw this kid, his name's Randy. Every Randy I know deserves a butt whooping. I have never been friends with a Randy where I was just like, what's up, Randy? Let's go get a drink, right? It's always like, I won't punch that motherfucker in the face. Even in high school, I got in fights with Randys, But this kid, I remember we were outside in the playground playing, and, all the kids piled their bags up against the wall. I happened to be like, 200 feet from my stuff. I saw him reach in my bag. I started running towards him. He grabbed the Soundwave and he ran home. He lived across the street from the school. And I was pissed, right? And I was just like that. And I ran into my bag. I looked through everything else. All my other stuff was still there. And I remember I zipped up my bag. My dad came to pick me up. I'm crying. And I was like, this kid stole my Transformer. I saw him do it. And of course, I got the lecture from my dad, which was, I told you not to take it to school. Why didn't you listen? But he walked me across the street. Huh? He's an Indian parent. What do you want? I should just be lucky he didn't throw me into a tree somewhere. Like, he walked me across the street to the house. I remember I rang the bell. He talked to the mother to be like, hey, apparently your son, he's like, hey, my son is telling me your son stole this. And the mother's like, my kid wouldn't do that. And I remember I looked over behind her. I went, I saw you, Randy. I saw you take it. And he was just like, no, man. He had that complete guilty look. And I was pissed, man. I remember I got in a big fight with him the next day because I was like, oh, okay, you're going to steal from me. I got something for you. Like, it was a hallway fight. I mean, 2nd grade level hallway fight, But he definitely never touched my bag again. But I also never took more than, I never took any toys with me that I couldn't put in my pocket while I was playing. After that incident, right? And my dad never...
No bots from then on.
Yeah. You want this? Take it. You just leave it there. No one touches it. That Soundwave was one of the ones I got for free, too, right? From my cousin. So I was just like... and it was one of the originals, so it sucked. And, yeah, my dad was never going to buy me another one. It was just like...
So, come to think of it, did your cousin also have the original Megatron then? That was
with the metal
into a gun.
It looked like a Ruger, right, or something. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
Chris, you're gonna put. Oh, I thought you were reaching for Megatron. I was like, if you put up an original Megatron too, Chris is like, look at my whole collection.
He transforms into a Han Solo's gun, if I remember right. The whatever gun.
I think it's the same mold that they use. Han Solo's gun, I think, is based off of Ruger too.
I think it's a Walter P-38, but that's just me being really nerdy.
I mean, here, let's do another Google search. It's not that hard. Megatron.
So the show and the movie almost existed simultaneously for me. Like, it wasn't like one came before you. I always knew it was like, okay, yeah, I know what Transformers is. These things are always kind of in the background. Like, I never had a set time that I would see them or anything like that.
Right,
sure.
I didn't really get any kind of structure to it until Beast Wars. Beast Wars came out. I was like, oh, cool, there's a dinosaur in this. I'm going to check it out.
Andrew loves dinosaurs, by the way.
Literally, that was the major reason I started watching Beast Wars. I was like, holy shit, this is really cool.
Anyone who knows Andrew can relate to that statement. Anyone who doesn't know Andrew thinks you're fucking weird because you like Beast Wars. I didn't hate Beast Wars, but I didn't love it. I thought it was an interesting idea, but it also felt very much like your typical, we're scrambling to come up with some ideas to make more money, right?
And that was apparently their reasoning for it too. Is like, we are out of ideas. We need a fresh take on this.
Well, apparently so we're gonna get into the movies in a second, but I want to talk about this gun. So it says released in the first year of the Transformers toy line, the original Megatron toy began life as a Microman figure called Gun Robo P-38, which transforms into an accurate replica of a Walter P-38 pistol. Good job, Chris, you fucking nerd. I like how he's like, I think it was, but I might be wrong.
So I was 90% sure.
Oh, yeah.
Something you mentioned on that, because I looked that up earlier too. Like, I forgot the Transformers toys started off as two separate toy lines.
Yeah.
And then Hasbro saw it and said, "Cool, that's cool shit. Let's make it into a thing."
Yes.
They partnered with a Japanese company, and then they together created Transformers.
Yep. We got that just reminds me also, on a side note, we're going to do one on Master Universe at some point, which I'm pretty sure Chris has a whole collection of too. So I want to talk about the movies, because Chris and I were talking about the movies last week, and I don't know what your take is on the movies. I didn't hate the first one, and I think it's because it's the first time I got to see these characters and these toys that I really love, like, come to life, right? Like, the trailer was badass. The movie wasn't, for what it's worth, it had a cool.
Movie was like a good 6 or 7 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would give it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. I liked, Michael Bay was smart enough. This is Michael Bay, right? Yeah, he was smart enough to throw.
It was Michael Bay.
I didn't realize. I didn't realize that dude's methodology of filming until I saw that movie. And one of my friends was like, "He blows everything up," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he showed me that. Have you ever seen that commercial he does for a TV screen?
It's for I thought it was for. Was it for a TV screen? I thought it was for Verizon. It
might be Verizon or a TV or LED TV, I forget. But he'd be like, it's basically him walking around his house. He goes, "That's my swimming pool," and it explodes. And he's like, "That's my new kitchen dishwasher," and it explodes. And it's just like everything he points at has to explode, right? Because that's his. He reminds me of a kid, the kid who ran around blowing up fireworks all day and had a kick out of it. Now he gets to do it on a professional level. But I did appreciate that in the movies he was smart enough to put in some classic lines, like "one shall rise, one shall fall" or something. I forget what I probably
one shall stand, one shall fall.
Yeah, and he sprinkled that in at the end there, and I was just like, "Oh shit," So, and he was, he did a pretty good job of making the vehicles look, back and forth. I thought the transformation sequences are bananas. I was like,
yeah, they were really great.
I was curious when I saw the trailers because I was like, how are they going to make these things transform? Are they just going to look like the cartoons where they're just blocked together, like 4 steps? We would have accepted that, right? Because we would have been just fine with seeing that sequence. But they went out of their way to create. And then I was like, man, that's a lot of time they put into that. But then he made a bunch of other movies and it just kind of tanked for me.
I think like as he stepped back from it, the quality dipped. Because I think the later ones, like even some of the ones that say it's directed by him, it's like not really directed by him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like his name is on it, but he had someone else fill in for a lot of the shoots and all that.
Oh, let's see. Directors.
The one thing
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I like the first Transformers movie a lot. The one thing I don't like about any of the Transformers movies, and this is really just my own personal bugbear, is I hate whoever designed the robot versions of all the Transformers is a terrible character designer.
You mean before they put on their armor and all that stuff?
No, like just the fact that they're basically like this busy visual noise. Like even like after they get their vehicle,
like everything has to move on them.
Everything moves on them. Everything is, there's no like this was the one thing I actually really liked about Bumblebee, which was not directed by Michael Bay, but it was directed by someone.
Travis Knight. Oh, so just so you know, Michael Bay did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Michael Bay did the first 5 Transformers movies. Travis Knight did Bumblebee, and then the new one is done by a new guy, Stephen Jr.
And Travis Knight he's the president / owner of Leica, which is the stop motion studio that did Coraline and all that.
Shut up! Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's the son of I forget the guy's name. He's the son of Nike's owner and founder.
What's up, Mr. Knight? Give us some work.
And this is like a random aside. Like Leica itself is actually built on the bones of the claymation studio that used to do the Noid commercials.
Oh yeah, I forgot what they're
Domino's
called.
And all that.
Yeah,
and the California raisins. Yeah,
dude, the Noid was big here in Chicago, man. Like you couldn't like turn on the TV without seeing a Domino's Noid commercial.
Yeah, so the stop motion, the stop motion / claymation studio that created all that was eventually bought out by Travis Knight and then turned into Leica, and they pretty much continued it.
That's cool.
Kept it on from there.
Chris, I should also let you know sometimes we do go off tangent and we come back, and that's fine.
Oh no, that's fine. That's totally
like
fine.
if you somehow randomly start talking about Rage Against the Machine, It'll be fine. I call it Rage
Oh,
Against
but-
the Machine because I know he loves that band.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, so Bumblebee, in the Bumblebee movie, I felt like that was a really good compromise in terms of like the Michael Bay look and having a more streamlined look in terms of how the robot mecha designs look.
Yeah.
The Michael Bay designs that exist in most of the movies, I think, are just a huge visual noise mess.
I feel like, yes, I agree with you on that. And I feel like
I would have liked like larger areas of rest and stuff on them, kind of like how it is in the Bumblebee movie.
Well, initially I thought he was purposely putting all these different shapes and parts in there to like, so maybe they don't have to overly render something, and your eyes can't focus enough to figure out that's not right. It's just a randomly saying shit. I don't know if that's the reasoning behind it.
Alan, do you still have the page up? When did first Transformers movie come out? Was that 2008?
2007. Close. 2007.
Oh, 7. Okay.
I mean, Industrial Light and Magic does all those effects too, right?
Oh, probably. If not them, it's the other one, but it's likely ILM.
I mean,
so I don't know if you remember the very first movie too. The opening scene where that helicopter comes into the U.S. Army base somewhere in the Middle East, in Qatar, I think. And the helicopter lands, and right before he starts to transform, they threw in that transformation sound from the original cartoon.
yes.
Yeah.
It's super awesome. That was like I almost stood up in the theater at that point because it was just like, fuck yeah, that's awesome.
He get oh crap! I just blanked on their names. Peter Cullen and Frank Welker to be the voice.
He got the original. He got some of the original people in.
So he got Peter Cullen to do Optimus, and this was one of the things that ticked me off about the first one was he did not bring Frank Welker in for Megatron. He brought in Hugo Weaving.
That's right.
That's right.
And I read about
like
it, and
Frank Welker would still be cheaper than Hugo Weaving. Like, why the fuck did you not get Frank motherfucking Welker?
Okay, so here's the thing. A couple of quotes from Bay that I read up on. When he was first approached by Spielberg to direct the Transformers movie, he didn't want any part of it. He didn't want to be part of like a quote stupid fucking toy movie.
Wow.
So he was not a fan of the fucking toys. Okay? But then he like sat in for a meeting with Hasbro and he was impressed with their ideas, and that's when he decided to do it. He didn't like Frank Welker's voice because he said it didn't fit Michael Bay's vision for the film. Which doesn't make sense.
Hugo Weaving did a Megatron voice anyway.
Correct.
What's that?
Hugo Weaving did the Megatron voice anyway.
Yeah.
That's just whatever. It's like, it sounds like, so everything, I don't know Bay on a personal level, obviously, so whatever. But a lot of interviews I hear about him and stuff I hear about him and like articles and stuff on the side, he doesn't sound like a nice dude to work with. So it's possible he was just difficult. Yeah. On a crazy level, right? And you're just like, he is like, even like everyone would always give what's the female character's name? Megan Fox a hard time about saying she's difficult to work with and all this, but then all these stories have come out since about how abusive he was towards her on set, and that's why she never came back after the second one, I guess.
And you know, the in the first movie, her character is I mean, Michael Bay does his typical Michael Bay thing, very like sexist, misogynistic type of perspective on what a woman should be and do.
Yeah.
But like she's still like in the final battle, remember, she like jumped into a tow truck and like drove Bumblebee around to like shoot the Decepticons. Like she was not just like the damsel in distress who was on the sidelines watching all these things go down. She was an active participant. In the second movie, he totally turned her into just
she needed help.
Shia LaBeouf's girlfriend, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a friend who was, I think he was in Cali. He was I don't know if he was a producer's assistant or what his title was, but he was part of the second movie, and he was talking about how like when he went to use I think he went to get lunch or use a bathroom or something. At some point he heard Bay talking, and Bay was like, I can't stand that bitch. I don't, blah, blah, blah. And he was just saying nothing nice about her. And he was like, and he couldn't say shit because he's a peon essentially, right? He's just going to get canned if he opens his mouth. So, but he was like, that's the level of, and it could be stress from working as a director. I don't know. So
well, so in the third movie, which I did rewatch today, I did my research for this show talk here. In the third movie, towards the beginning, Shia LaBeouf's character has these like two little Decepticon little like pet Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about, they don't mention Megan Fox's character's name, but they say, "Oh, your last girlfriend dumped you." And one of the Decepticons said, "Yeah, I never liked her." And it was just like, it was clearly a thing that Michael Bay threw in as like a, fuck you, Megan Fox.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it was just super petty. It was unnecessary,
I mean, it feels like, and the thing is like, you hear all these stories. So it's like, obviously there's two sides to every story. So like, you got her side and his side. And apparently Shia LaBeouf wasn't a great dude to work with either. So you're just like, it must be rough to work in Hollywood. I don't know, But I don't want to trash talk these guys, so I'm just going to move past this. I was going to also talk about, what's the one called? Age of Extinction? Is that the one that Dinobots got introduced for 15 minutes at the end? Like, I waited that whole fucking movie for the Dinobots to show up.
We all did.
And then when they show up, I was
Didn't even watch it.
I was like, what am I seeing right now? And I've never seen The Last Night, so I don't know if the Dinobots are in there again or not. I saw the trailer. I saw Optimus Prime goes rogue or bad, and I was like, I don't really know if I want to sit through this. I mean, I probably should watch it, right? Because I've seen the other ones. But I was very disappointed in that Dinobot design. Whoever designed those things clearly has never seen the cartoon.
Well, and to give you another Michael Bay quote, I don't remember the exact quote, but he did not like the Dinobots. He made some sort of quote after the second movie came out, when people were like asking about who's going to show up in future Transformers movies, and he was like, "You'll never see the Dinobots. I don't like them." And it's like, who doesn't like the Dinobots?
That's how you know he's a bad person.
Yeah. The guy's an asshole.
Who doesn't? My phone just dropped. Who doesn't like dinosaurs? Like, even my kid loves dinosaurs. A 2-year-old loves dinosaurs.
Exactly.
I feel like whatever. Bay's.
So
speaking
director.
of, that's all I'm gonna say.
I know that there's actually, they're doing a reboot, or not a reboot, but they're doing a sequel to Beast Wars, or like a revamp of it, or something like that. That I think comes out this year.
Yeah. So like, the next Transformers movie, the rumor is it's gonna have a Beast Wars angle to it.
No, I wasn't even thinking of the movies. I was thinking of like TV show. Like, I know they're they've been chugging away on cartoons. Like they basically do not a reboot, but like basically they revamp it every so often, every few years.
And it's all about the toys at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone can hear what's happening outside my door, and I apologize if you can, because I have no idea what's going on out there. My kid is being extra loud today.
You're good. No, you're good.
Yeah, so I did. So I heard about the new there's a new cartoon coming out, and I heard the next movie is supposed to be. I think what happened with these articles, they got confused because the movie doesn't seem like it's going to be about the Beast Wars, because there was what do you call it, like leaked images released last week, and they all look like they were cars. So I'm like, unless at some point they decide to we don't need to be cars, let's become a T-Rex, and then I don't know, but I'm not holding out any hope. But there is a new director doing it, so it might be good. I mean, it's not Michael Bay, so it's a guy named Steven Caple Jr. I don't know what else Steven has done. Let's see.
Might be someone that's just
The Land. He did Creed 2. He did Prentice and Fury's Ice Cream Adventure. He's done nothing I've heard of.
So he's basically that guy that they just shovel in to be like, hey, we need you to film this, and he's like, yeah, sure.
He's like, how much does it pay? I'm in. Yeah, there's no movies on this list that I've seen. Okay, so the movie is called Rise of the Beasts. So it might be Beast Wars.
Maybe.
I didn't like Beast Wars, man.
Oh, man, I loved it. I thought it was weird, especially because, like, when I first started watching, I was like, man, I know enough about Transformers to know that this is not at all what I thought it should be. And I was funny. So like, I remember it looking way better than it actually is. Like I saw one of the episodes again recently, and I understand like it's ballsy of them to do like 3D animation. What was that, like 97?
Yeah, they did the 3D. Yes, exactly. So the look of it was cool. I didn't just
at the time that was pretty cool looking at the time.
Yeah, at the time, like it's amazing. But when you look at it again, you're like, yeesh, oh my god. It's
well, it was right. It was like the same time. Was that show called Reboot or whatever?
Which
Is it called
remember if
Reboot?
those are it's Reboot. I'm trying to remember if those are the same company. I
It
think
might be the same company.
it might have been the only animation company at the time that was able to do 3D animation in that short of a turnaround.
So I quickly pulled up I was trying to see like
Look it
things
up.
about. Oh, what am I looking up? The company that
Oh
did Beast Wars.
no! I'm just gonna check real quick.
I was looking up some stuff about Transformers that we may or may not know, and I found some cool little facts, I guess you could say. And this one thing I think is kind of neat is according to this, somebody at Marvel came up with the name for Optimus Prime. Did you know that?
Yeah, Denny O'Neil.
Yeah, good job. I apparently did not know that.
I only know it just because like I have his DC Guide to Writing Comics book, so that his name stands out all the time to me.
Let's see. Transformers were killed simply to sell more toys. We already established that. Optimus Prime's death caused an outcry. So young Transformers fans were traumatized with the death of their beloved Optimus Prime. Hasbro received many letters of complaints of parents, which convinced them that Optimus should be resurrected, which he was.
Yeah.
My God.
So, I was right. This Beast Wars was done by the same production company that did Reboot, Mainframe Entertainment, Mainframe Studios. Sorry, Mainframe Studios.
So yeah, because it had like a similar vibe and animation style.
I think at the time they were literally like the only company in existence that could do 3D animation in like that short of like TV schedule turnaround.
Here's a good one for you guys. Do you guys know which Transformer is the rarest Transformer toy ever? It's not who you think it is. I'll be shocked if you get it though.
So it's not Megatron? Because I would figure like the original Megatron with the gun is rare. But...
No, it's I won't tell you yet. It says it's basically the rarest toy ever produced by Hasbro, and the rarest is also the biggest Transformer.
They didn't do a Unicron toy, did they?
They did, but he wasn't that big.
Oh.
Is it Trypticon?
No, that's who I thought it was. You want me to tell you?
Omega Supreme? No.
No. I would never have guessed this.
Who is it?
Fortress Maximus.
So when you said it wasn't Trypticon, Fortress Maximus was the Autobot counterpart to Trypticon. So I thought.
I guess I could have said that to you and given it away. I didn't think about that.
No, I was gonna say, but yeah, I mean,
somebody actually
like a base and everything.
Yeah, he's like a giant. He looks like a giant base with like I don't remember this one at all, but he looks kind of like two what do you? I was gonna say Star Destroyers, but what do you call the giant airships in the Navy? Wow, why is it failing me right now?
I don't know.
Battleships. They look like giant battleships.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, why can't I remember the simple things? And then the other thing I thought that was interesting, it was this guy, someone changed their name to Optimus Prime, apparently. U.S. States Army, there's an actual Optimus Prime. A guardsman has had his name officially changed on his 30th birthday, claiming that the Autobot leader helped him through difficult times. I would think that would be illegal because it's a copyright name, but what do I know?
Well, I mean, it's probably okay.
I mean, it's just a name, right?
Yeah, it's not like if he was to like all of a sudden start putting his name on T-shirts or something.
I feel like you could maybe get away with that and just be like, it's my name, like.
Well, if he was like selling it, then like Hasbro would be like, well, stop right there. Hold on a second. But yeah, no, just as a name, they don't care. It's like the same. It's the same way where you know how like movies basically wash their hands and say like, hey, if we happen to say your name, you can't sue us. This is total work of fiction.
What I also think is interesting, and this is one article here talks about the Micromen line, is how, and it also talks about how without He-Man you wouldn't have Transformers because those companies were both like trying to outdo each other consistently in the marketplace, right? But like a lot of those companies, what they would do was take an old existing toy and then revamp it to make a new toy. And a lot of times nowadays, when you see the new current toys kids are playing with, they don't look as good, mainly because they're built from the ground up, right? And some of them just suck. We had all the cool toys as kids. I've seen the stuff my kid plays with. It's all garbage.
It's a little. I mean, well, there's a couple of factors to that. I know, like, part of it is not as much money is thrown towards like tooling and all that nowadays compared to how it was back in the day. Other things is like, yeah, people like the companies are trying to just slash their bottom line as much as they can. Good, like I do remember. Funny enough, though, I do remember like I had the Robin Hood Sherwood Forest playset when I was a kid.
That was Ewok Village, man.
Yeah, Ewok Village, and I had Friar Tuck, who inexplicably had a Gamorrean body as his torso.
That's all Hasbro. That's
a very frequent thing where if they're like, ooh, we don't want to like kick a whole lot of money to this, but we think we can make a lot of money to it. They look to see like, do we have molds that we can reuse?
Well, it's like, yeah. So with Transformers, what they did was they had a lot of the original ones came from the Microman, and there was another series I can't remember. It starts with a D, but basically,
Diaclone.
That's it. Yeah. And they basically took those molds. Like Megatron is a prime example of the Microman stuff. You know, I talked about the gun earlier. And they just made it. And at the same time, it's also brilliant. And I think where it gets lost and stupid as an adult, you look at it and you're like, that was a bad idea, is when they try to when they push their luck and make things that didn't exist and then try to make them a thing, right? Like in the movies, they purposely threw in extra Transformers so they can make the toys. Like, and Star Wars is a good example of it, because there's a bunch of stuff that Hasbro made, vehicles and stuff, that didn't exist in the movies. And they made them. And then now they kind of show up here and there. So, like, because
if I remember right, weren't those, at least like the Star Wars toys, I think weren't those based off of like Ralph McQuarrie concept paintings and stuff?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, sure. Like we need to like shelf space. Like, let's just make these.
I mean, it's money in their pockets, right?
Yeah.
Like, what was it? Was it Transformers that made the Meteor guys that like, that they turn into asteroids and then they open back up? They transform that way. I can't remember what that line was.
Those were GoBots.
Those GoBots? Oh my god!
Oh no, it's GoBots all the way down.
I definitely had like 2 of those, and I just remember I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, and I wasn't a kid. I was like, I mean, I was still a kid, but I was older. I think I was like 11 when I got those, and I couldn't remember like did I read about this? Because I read a lot of Marvel comics, right? So I was like, did I read about this in like G.I. Joe Transformers? Did I see this on the cartoon somewhere? And I just don't remember.
I think they were called the Rock Lords.
Yeah, that sounds right. They were super shiny, I remember.
Super shiny asteroids. That's
super
crazy.
Shiny asteroids. I also found an interesting note here, which is just a side note, but it says Optimus Prime does not drink Coca-Cola. And it says one version of the Autobot...
Does he drink at all?
He drinks Pepsi, apparently. It says one version of the Autobot leader elevated product placement to a new level. In 1985, in case anyone's confused, Hasbro generated excitement with the limited edition mail-away version of Optimus Prime. He came complete with a Pepsi label to spruce up his trailer. Pepsi sucks, by the way. I'll fucking say that shit live, too.
I mean, RC is the best cola, so
Nobody will believe me. Andrew always trash talks RC in our Discord chat.
That is a hill that I will die on. Is that
I have 2 bottles of RC. So we're gonna go off on a tangent here because I grew up
Chicago.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I grew up right by Reese Park in Chicago. There's a place called Marco's. They make the best fucking Italian beefs. And if you order when you order food from them, depending on how much you order, they give you a liter of RC Cola. My mother-in-law is always like, "Do you want RC Cola?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I want RC Cola." Because she's like, "Do you want a Sprite, RC Cola?" I'm like, "I want the RC Cola, man."
Actually.
Don't you dare trash talk RC Cola sites.
No, I was just thinking about this. Like, serious question: is RC Cola based in the Midwest?
I don't know.
Let's find out.
Because I wonder if this is a because like Coke is in Atlanta. It basically like that's why the South is pretty much Coke. Like if you ask for soda, you say, "Oh, I'll have a Coke," and then
RC
someone asks,
Cola
like,
is from Columbus, Georgia. That's where it's from.
Where's it based though now?
I'm looking.
No way is it still in Georgia. Coke would have bought that shit out.
It's rival Columbus-based Royal Cola Crown Cola Company, although never as re-owned as its rival Coca-Cola, uses soft drink industry's phrase blah blah blah. It's from nothing tells me where it's based.
Are they? No way they're still based in Georgia. That's insane.
If there's an Optimus Prime with RC on his trailer, I'll buy that shit right now.
RC Cola. They also make Crush, which is amazing. See,
Crush is quite good.
They know what's up. Is it still manufactured? Yes, it's still manufactured, man. I just drank some the other day.
So, I have a question. Have either of you seen the third-party Transformers toys that have come out that are not made by Hasbro? They're made by a smaller company that the name escapes me. But basically, what they do is they make high-end.
I know what you're talking about.
Of the Transformers. Yeah,
I've seen them at the anime. I've seen them at anime festivals.
Yeah,
anime
they're like super intricate, super detailed. There was one they had a Devastator one that came in.
I'm staring right at it right now.
It's
all the $300.
It is, but
the company is called.
Right, it's huge.
It's huge. The company is called Generation Toys. This thing stands almost 18 inches tall. I don't know if I can share this on here. Let's find out. Let's do this for the first time ever. I'm gonna try to share my screen.
You're gonna try and do the screen share.
I think I just have to do a screen share. Let's see. Hopefully you guys don't see all my shit. What do we see? Let's see. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, well, let's see. Yeah, there he is at the big bad toy store.
I don't see it. I don't know.
You have to.
Click
this. You have to click the screen button.
Screen. It's since it's like through Discord, it's a little finicky.
I'll stop it. I don't think people can see it. That's the problem. It's okay. He's big and he's about $300, but that is cool. And I still don't know the information about RC Cola. But I mean, we can definitely get it here in Chicago, and it's the best soda ever. And one level under that is Thumbs Up soda. If you ever find it, get it, drink it. It's great. You can only get it in India, so you probably have to go to Devon.
Thumbs Up soda.
Oh yeah, your wife's Indian, man. Do you have like an Indian store near you somewhere? It's called Thumbs Up soda. The logo is literally a thumbs up.
Oh, I should ask. Like, it's been a while since we've been at the Indian store.
It's like how do I describe it? It tastes like Mexican Coke, where it's like real sugar, not the.
Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't have the It's owned by Coca-Cola now, but I think in like India and stuff, it's still distributed by whoever makes it there.
Gotcha.
But the only place I've been able to find it is in Chicago. There's an area called Devon, which is like Little India, right? So. It's the only place I can find it. Let's get back to the Transformers.
Well, so one of my problems I've got about 88 problems with Michael Bay just related to the Transformers franchise.
Yeah, go for it.
Go on.
But one of them was, I don't know if you guys have seen the second movie, Revenge of the Fallen.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember parts of it.
It's the one where they end up in Egypt fighting on the pyramids and shit.
Isn't Leonard Nimoy did the voice, right, of one of the characters?
No, that was in the third one. Leonard Nimoy was in the third one. He did the voice of Sentinel Prime.
Sentinel Prime, yeah.
But the second one, besides having the awful characters known as the twins, they were like these racist caricature types.
Yes, yeah. I remember those two.
They were so unnecessary to like literally every scene they were in. It was awful.
Didn't one of them have truck nuts, or is that another thing I'm thinking of?
That was Devastator.
That was Devastator. So he turned Devastator, who was like the biggest, baddest robot in the history of the cartoon. He turned him into like a giant, like dog type creature.
Yep.
And he had like two huge nuts hanging out, and it was.
That's right.
Like,
wrecking balls. Yeah.
Yeah. It still ticks me off. He ruined like one of the best Transformers that was ever around.
Well, it's just like. It just comes down to the fact that you said before he had no interest in doing this movie.
He wasn't a fan of this, so he wasn't
not a fan. Yeah, he basically was like, "I'm getting paid buku bucks to bring this vision to life." And the thing that sucks is you you wish they would get a director that actually knows the franchise, right? And I feel like if we're going to talk about like directors who are doing like game-based movies or cartoon-based movies nowadays, learning from these lessons, I feel like a lot of companies are finding directors that know the product. I just spaced out. There was there was a guy doing a movie that I remember everyone's like, he like loves the thing. He knows the product. So it's going to be, Masters of the Universe. There's a live action Masters of the Universe coming out.
Oh, really?
All the articles state that the guy who is in charge of directing it, like grew up watching it, loves the cartoon, has been talking to Kevin Smith, who just is about to release a cartoon, right? So like these guys are actually doing their homework, is my point. They're not just like... I wonder
who's Mattel kicking money to? Like, what production company is producing the live action one?
Let's see. We're doing a lot of Google searching on this episode.
Well, Alan, I know you said that you're probably going to end up doing a Masters of the Universe episode, so we don't have to get too much into that awful 1987 movie, but wow, what a piece of shit that movie was.
So,
oh man, that was so interesting.
That was the first movie I ever rented in the video store. Like, I didn't realize renting movies was a thing at that time. I forget how old I was. I think I was like 7 or 8. And I remember my dad took me down. There's a place called Jack's Videos, and my dad took me down there. And the guy had a Nintendo game. It was like a mini arcade with a video store built into it. So yeah, I remember he took me to the kids section. All these movies I've never even heard of, just on the wall. And he was like, "Pick one out." And he's like, "We'll take it home to watch." And I remember the cover had Dolph Lundgren, holding the sword. And I was like, "Is that He-Man? Is this He-Man?" I only knew it as He-Man. I didn't realize the cartoon was called Masters of the Universe, right?
Right.
I believe for kids they used to call it He-Man and the Masters of the Universe or whatever. But
yeah,
I remember my dad's like, "Yeah, that's He-Man. Do you want to take that?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I have this VHS cassette that I'm like the happiest kid on the block because I have no fucking clue that this existed. And I forgot what year did that movie come out? 85, you said?
87.
87. So I was how old was I? 7. And the video probably came out a year after or 2 after that, so it's probably, like I said, 8 or 9. And I loved it, for its time, because now I'm seeing a live action version. It's the same thing with the Transformers, man. I was seeing a live action version of a thing I never thought would exist in that format. So I was happy. I was like nostalgic for a little bit. Like Michael Bay did okay with the first one. He didn't disappoint to a high level. But everyone after that, I just couldn't stomach it. Like you and I are talking about Bumblebee, and you were like, you should watch Bumblebee because it's a good movie. I couldn't watch it initially because I was like, I just didn't want another disappointing film.
Oh, yeah. I was the same way where I was like, I don't think this is going to be good. Like, I've never liked any of these except the first one. And then eventually it was on a Prime Video. Yep. So I was like, all right, I'll watch it. And it turned out to be quite good.
Bumblebee is by far the best one of the whole live action series.
I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, I don't think that this is coincidence. It's also the only movie of the 6 live action ones. Not only is it the only one not directed by Michael Bay, who sucks. It's also the only one that is not 2.5 hours long.
No, it's a tight 90, isn't it?
It's like an hour and 20 or something. But I mean, that's about how long those movies need to be.
Yeah. You should be able to bank those. It should be like watching an episode of your favorite show and you're done. Right? But instead he puts in all the extra bells and whistles because whatever. He's got money or some producers saying you have to hit a specific timestamp and keep the audience in the theater for X amount of time.
It could be that latter one. Like I know it's gotten better recently, but there used to be this very big stigma about like, hey, if we're putting a lot of money into this, it can't be like a 90-minute movie because the 90-minute movie is considered cheap.
But if it's
that's like the realm of like a horror movie and that kind of thing where it's like no, like we can't, we need to have it be 2 hours at least so we know it's a serious movie.
I mean, that's just whatever. I think that's a dumb way of thinking because there's plenty of indie flicks.
Yeah, it's a nonsensical way of thinking, but again, like this is producers. They if you have enough money chucked into these things, you get like a lot of really bad ideas thrown at you to justify the reason they have a job.
Right. Have you heard? Have you heard the story with Kevin Smith and the giant spider?
Yep.
Like,
that's the guy that producer went on to produce Wild West, or sorry,
yeah.
Wild West.
And then a giant spider shows up in there because that was this
Yeah.
dude's like lifelong dream to have some giant
There
spider.
was
So
there was
stupid.
some other movie that he produced as well that had a spider in it, and yeah, at that
Why?
point, like I realized like, oh, you have a fixation.
So here's some two interesting things I found. It says Transformers once teamed up with Spider-Man, which I'm not surprised because Marvel did the comic books.
Did it as a I was gonna say like through Marvel, or was it like a
Says
Japanese
Transformers teams
crossover?
up with Marvel's popular superhero Spider-Man, a quest to save Autobots' allies Sparkplug. Fellow Marvel characters Nick Fury and Dum Dum Dugan made brief appearances.
Huh.
And then the last thing on this list was in Japan, Transformers mythology involved a series of very sensual radio plays. And it says almost
Sorry,
2 decades. Yeah, sensual radio plays. Almost 2 decades after the initial explosion of the Transformers craze, the Japanese media grabbed at a revival of the franchise's old glory via the particularly old-fashioned medium radio drama. In 2006, wow, that's not that old. The radio series Lyrian Chiao, I don't know how to say that Japanese word, premiered a 38 episode serial titled Transformers Kiss Players, focusing on both the adventure and romance-oriented sides of the Transformer life. This is disturbing. I never knew that existed. It's like this shirt.
I'm just like I'm imagining like, how do you make something sensual like Autobots roll out?
I mean, it's the adventure and romance-oriented sides of Transformers' lives, man. I don't really know where that statement was going.
Does Megatron and Optimus kiss?
No, man. Clearly, Megatron and Starscream are in love, dude. Come on.
Yeah, that's not love. That's clearly just a dom sub relationship.
It's family. I'm trying to think if there's anything anything else we should touch. Chris, do you have some stuff you want to show us, or was Soundwave it?
Actually, I do.
Yeah.
I do have a number of Transformers items. I got this poster.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh man,
that's from the original box art, like on the toys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. When they actually cared about the art that went on the toy packaging.
My shirt here is my favorite Autobot, which was Jazz.
Jazz was my favorite. I loved him.
And in the first movie, Michael Bay's punk ass killed him. Like Megatron literally rips him in half.
Rips him in half. Yeah.
Like it's like that was Optimus's number 2 dude. This is the other reason
I always felt like Michael Bay did that because he's a little bit of a racist, and Jazz had a very he was totally
distinctly black voice.
A black voice.
Yeah.
And Michael Bay was like, I don't like that, and killed like he had an option of killing any other one, and he was like, kill the black one.
Right. No, I totally agree with you. And the other thing that pisses me off about Michael Bay is that he made Bumblebee literally like the best. Well, he made him mute, which was annoying, but he also made him like the best fighter in all the movies.
Yeah.
Like, Bumblebee was like kicking everybody's ass. If you watched even one episode of the cartoon, Bumblebee was the fucking biggest moron that any of the Transformers ever met. He was always getting into trouble. He couldn't do a damn thing right.
Wasn't he the scrub, if I remember right? Where it's like
he's supposed to
like he's
supposed to be like the one that's learning to be as good as the others, and he's stuck in this planet now. And he was like the one they sent to the planet to like, oh, this guy's training, send him to Earth, you know? And you're just
he was the one who like his best friend was the human like teenager in the cartoon. It's like
right.
The other Transformers like realized like I don't want to fucking hang around with this fleshling dork like Bumblebee. You can go hang out with him.
You want me to take care of this loser?
The second biggest one behind Prime. It was ridiculous.
Right. I don't. Again, he didn't read it, so that is a cool poster.
I don't know if the lights. Wow. This is a drawing I found at a Comic-Con. Can't really see it too well, but it's Soundwave and Blaster. They're in a DJ battle.
That's awesome. Anyone doesn't know, Chris is a DJ, so I could understand why you would buy that in a heartbeat.
So as soon as I saw that at a Comic-Con, I was like, I gotta get this shit. This also is a turntable mat for my turntable.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Logo. I've got a Monopoly Transformers.
I hate Monopoly.
Everybody hates Monopoly. The bags aren't even open inside. I've never been able to play this with anybody. So
sure, yeah, because nobody likes Monopoly.
I also have a.
Oh, nice. You have a Decepticon, huh?
Oh, I can't. Yeah,
we could see it. We could see it.
Yeah,
it's a tattoo. I got that a couple years ago because the Decepticons were always cooler. The Autobots sucked.
I mean, that's like any bad guy in any like cartoon, right? They always went out of their way to make them look cooler.
Yeah,
villains are always better.
Yeah.
I also have the original movie soundtrack on vinyl.
That's awesome.
And this soundtrack is actually a kick-ass 80s soundtrack.
It is. If you like 80s music, it's perfect, you know?
Yeah.
I expected you to have like a bunch of like lithographs and signed shit. We'll have to find you some stuff at shows.
Yeah, you know,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, the Soundwave and Blaster doing a DJ battle, that was like one of the few Transformers pieces that I've seen at a con that I just like I had to have.
That's a cool picture. I had a Bumblebee shirt. I could not dig it out. I don't know where it is. After the move, I've been able to find shit. It's obviously in this house somewhere, but I wasn't going to dig it out for the show because I was like, I'm too stressed right now.
Yeah. I almost forgot. This is
Decepticon shot glass.
Hey,
nice.
Shot glass. I've got some vodka, so I'm going to do this to the death of Michael Bay.
Oh wow, nice. Okay. Andrew, I dug this shirt out because you and I talked about how I never wear pink on the show, even though pink's one of my favorite colors.
Oh yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll wear this today. I actually had on a really cool glowing Destiny shirt, and I had a dude here earlier spraying for bugs, and he sprayed me on accident.
Oh. Where'd you get a Mr. Sparkle T-shirt?
It was. I think it's either T Public or
okay.
One of those, I'll send you the link. I got like the newsletters and I saw it and I'm like, ooh, I want a Mr. Sparkle shirt.
Right?
Hang on a second. Is Chris wearing Zubaz pants? Chris, are you wearing Zubaz?
Yes, I am.
You motherfucker.
I wish they were Transformers Zubaz, but they're just Cub Zubaz.
I think it's great that you're just fucking wearing Zubaz pants, man. You stood up. I'm like, is that dude wearing Zubaz?
They're so comfortable.
I mine were sold. They ripped. But what I was gonna say is the one Transformer shirt that I really want that I can't. It was on eBay for a while and I couldn't get it anymore. Was I went to E3 in I want to say it was 20 whatever year Halo 4 came out that year when they were premiering it. And Transformers had a game coming out too, and the problem with that show was they weren't selling the shirts; they would just throw them into the audience. And if you caught one, you caught one. And they had a Grimlock one. It was badass, man. It was just like red. You can probably find it on eBay, but I'm not going to spend $50 for a shirt. But I tried so hard to get one of those shirts, and I never did. And a week after the show, it was selling on eBay for like hundreds of dollars.
Of course,
which I was never going to buy. And occasionally I have a list of things I check on eBay for, and if it pops up at $20 or so, I'd probably buy it. But that's I've never been able to find a really good Dinobot shirt beyond that one. They have some TeePublic has some random Grimlock shirts, but nothing that makes me say I want to buy that.
Have you ever gone on 80stees.com?
Yeah, I haven't gone there in a while. I will definitely check it out.
I just know they've got a lot of Transformers shit, and I know Grimlock's always pretty popular, but
let's do a quick search.
You know what's interesting about the Dinobots in the cartoon series is that I don't know if you guys remember Wheeljack. He was the Autobots like engineer.
Yep.
And he created the Dinobots when they were on Earth. He created them, but he purposefully made them dumb to match their like actual counterparts from millions of years ago. He's like, well, the original dinosaurs were dumb as shit, so I'm gonna make these robots dumb as shit. And it's like, how is this guy
the cool?
It's cruel, exactly. Like at what point did Optimus walk in the room and just being like, "Yeah, I'll sign for that," like we're good.
Like this all seems in order.
Yeah, you're gonna make a T-Rex that might be stronger than me, and at some point throw fire at me. Sure, build it. Oh, no kill switch, even better. What I was going to say about the shirt thing was like, yeah, I hated that. I hated the fact that people would jump and kill each other for these shirts when they, these companies make millions of dollars. They should just be given away. And I remember the Halo one. On a side note, we were there for 4 days or whatever. Each day, my friends and I tried for a shirt. I was there with three other friends. We each got one. but we had to painstakingly push and kill people to get those shirts. The dude would lob them in the air,
really?
and we would. I remember my friend got one, and he elbowed a kid in the face, totally on accident. But the kid his face just happened to be there.
Was that the first year that they did E3 to open to public, or was that
no? So we used to go there with this is before that. So I used to have a freelance graphic design company, and I was able to use that to get in. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And my friends worked for Motorola at the time, so they were able to get in through that credentials. And now it's open to the public, so like every joker on the block is over there.
Yeah,
poisoning the well.
That's fine. At this point, it's dying anyway. So
no, it was a fun experience when it happened because we were able to get in for free, basically, right? You have the credentials, you prove you have a company, you get in there, you pay for your trip, obviously. So we made a trip out of it. It's a boys' trip that we used to do, but we haven't done it in a while. I was trying to think, I was also going down a list of like what other obviously Transformers are everything. My thing was Funkos for a while. I had a couple Funko Pops, and I mainly have Optimus and Soundwave. I don't think they ever made a Grimlock one, did they?
Oh, if they did, I would actually.
They probably did. Why am I not surprised?
Oh, Alan, to answer your question from earlier, if you asked if the Dinobots were in the 5th one, the last night at all, Grimlock was in it for literally like 30 seconds.
See, that kind of shit just pisses me off.
And they had Mark Wahlberg because he was the male lead at that point. He had like 2 baby Dinobots. He had a baby Grimlock and a baby Triceratops. And it's like, how does this even work? Like, they're not reproducing. Like, they don't grow up. Like, they're just built as fucking robots.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, man.
Honestly, if you watch
I will probably end up watching it now because I need to, right? I gotta see how it ends.
You have to like gear up for it. It's really bad and it's really long. So
yeah, so I expected it to be long. Yeah, there's a suspension of disbelief he expects from people, and it's like, what do you then you realize he's the same dude that made movies like Bad Boys, where it's just like that movie had a cool idea and a cool it had potential for because Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, man, they're brilliant actors. Like you have potential to do this amazing thing, but instead you gotta blow things up and put way too much action in it, which is this. I get it. That's his thing. So,
but what a shitty thing for that to be your thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh hey, I'm the fireworks kid who, now I have $200 million budget, so I'm just gonna blow everything the fuck up. Like, it's not interesting.
I mean,
didn't he come from? I'm trying to remember if he came from music videos or if he came from commercials. You're
thinking of Wes Anderson, I think.
No, well, a lot of directors have very similar beginnings. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I did a quick search on Michael Bay movies, right? And
I'm pretty sure Michael Bay was a commercial director.
He did The Island, which is actually a pretty good movie.
Island was pretty good.
Okay, he did Armageddon.
The Rock is by far
The Rock is amazing.
Movies. The Rock is awesome.
He only blows one thing up in The Rock, I think. Which is because you can't blow the whole thing up, right? Because there's nuclear warheads.
No, he has that car chase scene with the Humvee with Sean Connery, and he blows up a lot of cars along the way.
That's true. He has so he also did I Am Number 4, which wasn't a bad movie. He did. See, I don't know if he directed these. That's the problem. He did 13 Hours with what's his name from The Office. That was a good movie. And he did TMNT, which destroys me because we're gonna do another TMNT talk too. Because who was the other one that loved turtles? My friend Jason. Because I love TMNT and Michael Bay. Those movies are just the Transformer stuff aside, I feel like I would punch him in the face with TMNT stuff.
That's fair.
I will actually pile drive him for the Transformer stuff. So I get what you're saying.
So, all right. Well, we're a little over an hour. So if there's anything else cool that you want to add to the Transformers talk, we can do that. Chris,
I wanted to actually say one thing, and it's been bothering me since I watched your X-Men talk months ago.
X-Men talk. Did we do an X-Men talk?
You did the one about X-Men. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I don't remember.
This is totally random. It's been keeping me awake at night.
Okay.
you guys were talking about Magneto and about like how
Miles.
he's supposed to be, how he's so old, but yet he's like fucking ripped, and like how is he like not as old as he should be? It's because in the early 70s in the comics, he created this mutant when he was in the Savage Land. He created this mutant called Alpha the Mutant. He's supposed to be like this badass mutant. The mutant rebels and reduces Magneto to a baby. He like turned Magneto back into a baby Magneto.
I did not.
I didn't know that.
This is a super fucking stupid story. And then Professor X takes baby Magneto, puts him in the care of Moira McTaggart. While he's a baby in Moira's care, Moira tries to like fuck with his head and like tries to put in like inhibitors so that like as he grows up, he won't be a psychopath.
Sure. Just never works.
And then when he's still a baby, Eric the Red, the Shi'ar agent, like brings him back up to like an adulthood state, but not quite as old as he should have been at that point.
This has got to have been retconned. Yes.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
it's comics. It probably has.
X-Men is one of the most retconned series in the comics industry, if I'm correct. Well, here's the thing, Chris. We're going to do another one on X-Men because I wanted to do one on, I don't know if you've been reading House of X, Powers of X, Sword of X, all that stuff.
I'll read it if I can get onto the show somehow.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, of course. You're welcome back anytime. I actually, have you read Secret Wars? Hang on. I'm going to take us offline first and then we'll talk real quick. But go ahead, Andrew. You got something to say about Transformers?
Oh, no, not about Transformers, but I did want to mention...
Oh, yeah, we got to plug your Kickstarter. Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. I meant to do this at the beginning of the show. We're going to do this here.
No, you're good.
So Andrew has a Kickstarter for an ancient Cthulhu idol, which is the actual title of the Kickstarter. Can they search your name? I'm going to drop a link at the bottom of the video as well.
Yeah, cool.
You're doing okay. I don't think you'll fund day one, but you're actually cooking along really well.
Yeah, it's coming along. It's a little over. I think it's at 25% now.
They're at 1,400 right now.
Yeah.
So
they're cold cast resin. So that means it's basically metal powder mixed in with resin to add weight to it.
Do you have one on you? Yep, there it is.
Yep, and to allow like this oxidation happening. This is actual oxidation happening on the surface of it.
Wow.
So yeah, I started playing around with like mold making and casting last year during the pandemic.
I have one of these, and I think it's a solid sculpt. I mean,
it is definitely like in the same vein as how I always felt about the Optimus Prime toy I had, which was like I could easily brain someone with this if I tried.
Yep. Yeah, you could definitely break somebody with his idol and be like, "Welcome to Lovecraft, bitch." You know. So it's live now. It's called the Ancient Cthulhu Idol. I'll drop a link at the bottom of the video. He's got 29 days, but it'd be great if he can fund before Monday. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I think you're on a steady track to do that, and we'll plug it again at the beginning of the next episode. I totally forgot because I was too stressed trying to get this shit working. Okay, well, Chris, thanks for being on. Andrew, thanks for co-hosting again. Chris, we'll have you back on for an X-Men talk because apparently Miles loves Magneto but does not know that story.
Miles... actually, can I ask a real quick question about Magneto then? Is he still considered a World War II, not a veteran, like basically, like, is he still from that era, technically?
Holocaust survivor?
He's a Holocaust survivor, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, God, Christ, I can't remember why I blanked on that. Yeah, is he still a Holocaust survivor? That's interesting. Because, like...
I think the current version of him is. Because, I feel like Chris's story...
You figure age-wise, he's about 90-something then.
I guarantee you they retconned it with some weird mutant... It's like Wolverine, right? He doesn't age because of his healing factor, but also the adamantium mixed with it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
it ages
I guess
him slower.
I always wondered, like, if they had something to explain, like, oh yeah, Magneto, he just ages slower, or whatever, because
I think it's the same thing.
Because like, yeah, he's tied to such a distinct like period in time. You're like, yeah, you only have like X amount of time before it stretches disbelief.
Well, they're not going to take away. So, like, I think Wolverine's thing is the healing factor, and Magneto's or something, because they're not going to take away the it is important that he's a Holocaust survivor, right? It's important his MO. It's important to that. So, all right, let me take us offline real quick. Give me a second here. And then, okay, wait, hang on a second.